नमस्कार सबको मेरा अभिवादन स्वीकार हो। I have fixed my topic is research in Ayurveda, present perspectives. My lecture will be based on two verses of Ayurveda. First is, न हि ज्ञानावयवेन कृष्णे ज्ञेये ज्ञानम उत्पद्यते. Means by fragment of knowledge you cannot know the entire science of a particular speech. Second verse is Eku says Eku Shastro Adhyano न विद्यात् शास्त्र निश्चयम् तस्मात् बहुशतः शास्त्रो विजानीयात् चिकित्सकः. Means if we are expert of Ayurveda and we don't know anything about modern physics, modern chemistry, modern electronics, and modern medicine, then it will not going to benefit Ayurveda at global level. Because in Ayurveda, the Ayurvedic medicines are acceptable in India only, but our vision is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Why not this knowledge of Ayurveda be spread over all over the world, so that people from all over the world can get benefit from Ayurveda? But unless we prove it on scientific parameters, it will not be acceptable at global level. Very recently, guidelines for phytopharmaceuticals have been constituted in India. Before that, in 2016, before that there were no guidelines for a drug having multi-ingredients of Ayurvedic plants or Ayurvedic drugs. Actually, many of the researchers of India have got US patents in my university also. I also got US patent, but this is limited only for US. So it is a matter of pride that I have got US patent. But unless this US patent is not approved by Indian FDA and Drug Controller General of India, DCGI, two approvals from Indian FDA and DCGI is necessary to use these patented products at global level. And this is the aim before us. This is the target before us. This is the challenge before us, to prove our Ayurvedic formulations, Ayurvedic medicines as a medicine at global platform. Because at global platform, our medicines are simply used as food supplements, food adjuncts. Only India and Sri Lanka, these drugs are accepted as Ayurvedic medicines. In Sri Lanka is more than us in formulating the guidelines. I am proud of my students of Sri Lanka. who are their director general at Colombo and director of the institutes at Colombo and Rajagiriya, etc. By their own efforts, the Sri Lankan government has accepted Ayurvedic formulations as Ayurvedic medicines, but nowhere in world except Ayurveda, India and Sri Lanka, the drugs of medicines of Ayurveda are acceptable as medicines. So this is a big challenge. And to meet these challenges, this challenge, we have to prove our medicines by many researches, either experimental or in vitro, to prove efficacy of the drugs on objective parameters, which can be seen, which can be observed by scientists at global platform. And this can be achieved not only by our Ayurvedic experiments, but we have to include other branches of science also. If a modern medicine can use the achievement of biochemistry for biochemical examinations, biochemical results like LFT, KFT, sugar, etc., if they can take the help of physics and electronics for ultrasonogram, for PET, for CT scan, MRI, etc., why not we? I was delivering a lecture last week somewhere. I was an allopathic physician uh, asked me why you are using these parameters. Why you don't use for your parameters, SAR, Sanghanan, Praman, etc.? Because these are modern medicine. My dear friend, these electronics and biochemical investigations are not of modern medicine. They are a gift of biochemistry, electronics, and physics. If you can adopt them, why cannot we? तो चुप रह गए बेचारे, ये ज्ञान किसी की बपौती नहीं है, पूरे यूनिवर्स का ज्ञान को पाने का. But due to international rules and regulations, ordinances, a single knowledge cannot be disseminated and cannot be used by the people of other countries, only by government rules, and especially for every government. So in Ayurveda, as Ayurveda is receiving global attention, it is necessary to satisfy the international bodies relating to efficacy, toxicity study, safety study of the drugs used. Hence, though Ayurvedic drugs were in use since long time in India, yet it is mandatory to carry out toxicity studies and properly design clinical studies. ऐसा नहीं कि 40-50 में कर लिया, एक सेंटर पर कर लिया, अपने हॉस्पिटल में कर लिया. Multi-centric trials are necessary to get approval from Indian FDA or DCGI. I'm not telling about the classical drugs of Ayurveda like Saraswati, Chyawanprash, etc. But I am telling about patented drugs which you develop by your research. You have to prove it. You have to do toxicity studies, safety standards, multi-centric clinical trials, because the same drug has different effects in people of Uttar Pradesh and may have different effects in South, Karnataka or Kerala. Because of geographical variation, due to change of geographical variation, not even effects of drug, but the constituents and concentration of constituents of drug in a specific plant varies. The plant which is being grown in windy region, in the same plant found in the Western Ghats, they have different concentration of its constituents. So naturally, if they have a different concentration of constituents, they will exert effect at different level, at different extent. That's why if you are going to develop a new drug by your new research, its multi-centric trial is absolutely necessary. The traditionally used folk medicines, and drugs of countries like India, China, Australia, Brazil, etc., are being imported into UK and USA legally or illegally. Illegally also. I know I have my students in US and Canada. They procure the Ayurvedic drugs by so many means, but their objective is to give a relief to the people. Their objective is not to smuggle. Since they are imported to US, Canada, etc., as a result, there is scope of questioning the safety, study, adverse reaction, and toxicity of the same. Because in US, Canada, and other European countries, there is fine if a single adverse effect comes, and it is proved that it is due to this drug. You can take simple example of Kupilu, Vatsanam, Karavir, Gunja, Pahithin, Bhanga, Dattur. We use all these things in our medicine. They are plant products. But if they are not included in a specific dose and different diseases, then a single undesired effect can impose a very high penalty to the physician. Last month itself, one of my students, Pradeep, he represents Brisbane in Australia, and he suddenly called me, sir, this drug I have been used on, and the patient claims me that I have developed this side effects. And I have been asked by FDA and the controller of Australia, and they have banned my practice. Anyhow, in last 1 month, I have given him some support, scientific support, and he could be able to join his practice, but only with the listed herbal drugs of Australia. उसके पहले वो यहाँ सभी ड्रग्स इंपोर्ट करता था, जैसे कि नीचे क्या है श्री आयुर्वेद एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा, सब पर बैन वहाँ उसकी प्रैक्टिस पर लग गया, and he can practice only those drugs which are listed as a herbal medicine in Australian government. इतना ही फाइन लगा, किसी किसी के ऊपर 1 साल प्रैक्टिस न करने की फाइन लगा दी जाती है, ऊपर से मॉनेटरी फाइन लगा दी जाती है. If we want to prove our Ayurvedic medicine as to be used as a medicine in foreign countries, then we have to do all these studies. Use of these Ayurvedic remedies was the subject of a meeting held in 1984 February at Royal Botanical Garden, Kew, London. Initiative was taken at that place. The meeting was organized jointly by the National Poisons Unit of London, Royal Botanical Garden, and International Program on Chemical Safety of Drugs. The National Poison Unit London has taken a special interest in toxicological problems resulting from exposure to these remedies. आप टू शेखर रस बहुत बढ़िया लेते हैं, आपको मालूम है किसमें रसूल पड़ता है? शत्रुर पड़ता है ना। ऐसे ही बहुत सारी औषधियां हैं जिनको आप गलत डोज में दे देंगे, बिना प्रकृति की परीक्षा किए दे देंगे, तो हार्मफुल इफेक्ट दिखा सकते हैं। बहुत बढ़िया से यूज करते हैं आप। कुमारियासव, पेट में गड़बड़ी हो, पेट में कब्ज हो, लीवर कमजोर हो, कुमारियासव देते हैं। नो डाउट कुमारियासव इज ए वेरी गुड मेडिसिन, but if you prescribe Covayaso to a pregnant lady or lactating lady, it is sure that it is going to show harmful effects on your patient, because you must know how the aloe vera, the Kumari X, Kumari's pharmacokinetics must be known to you. First thing, with Kumari aloe goes into enterohepatic circulation. Second one, it improves the blood circulation, or we may say that it induces congestion of pelvic organs. फिर क्या होगा? When it induces or it increases the blood supply towards pelvic organs. What are those pelvic organs? That are uterus, large intestines. If the lady is not pregnant, then very good laxation or purgation can occur. But if she is pregnant, there are chances of abortion. If she is lactating lady, you must know that aloe is excreted through breast milk also. You have prescribed lactating lady Kumariaso in Yaktaprikar or in Anubandha, etc. No doubt that lady is going to be benefited, but the child, the infant in her lap will suffer from diarrhea. It is not only with the aloe, that is Kumari, there are several drugs which can be excreted through breast milk or which can cross the placental barrier. You see thalidomide digester, you remember thalidomide digester in Europe in 1960s. Thalidomide came as a very good and promising drug in the first trimester of pregnancy for vomiting. So, क्या कहते हैं उसको, ग्रेविडोरम, एमएसएस ग्रेविडोरम, and it was welcomed by world community. And within 1 year, more than millions of ladies took this thalidomide for MSS gravidorum, and entire Europe after 9 months suffered with the anomaly of fetuses. Lakhs of fetus are delivered with fetal anomalies, and that's why it is called European thalidomide digester. Meaning to say that it is not only with Ayurveda, but with modern medicine also. Glitazones were introduced, and after 1 year, rosiglitazone was withdrawn because it increases the risk of cardiac troubles. So, but you know, a very internal thing I would like to say you, because I have been uh, approximately almost all committees, a member of all committees. I know that today on this platform I am saying, not it is not to be quoted anywhere. The rules and regulations are governed by industrialists in every country. In every country. 2 decades back, a paper was published on the refined oil, that how much toxic it is, and it was going to be published in Nature. but $1 billion were given to the authors, to the researchers, to not publish this because a huge stock of refined oil in a special country could remain unfold, बेकार हो जाता उसका भंडारण। उससे अच्छा मिलियन बिलियन डॉलर दे करके रिसर्चर्स को ही रोक दो कि वो पब्लिश पे कर देता है। ये सब एजुकेशनल माफिया, research mafia, industrialist mafia, mafia not only in the field of crime, everywhere there. Okay, so we are standing at crossroads. भाई अभिषेक या टाइम बता देना, भाई टीचर हूँ ना, बोलने में टाइम ख्याल नहीं रखता, उससे मैं ध्यान रखूंगा कि टीम में बंद कर दूं। So we are standing at the crossroads of past and future. Our present is जो है सो है, लेकिन we are seeing our past, but we want to grow in future. We want to come on global level, seeing the progress and regression. Genus is एक सिक्के पर प्रोग्रेस है, दूसरे पर रिग्रेशन। We will be stepping into new era with diseases like common diseases like malaria, tuberculosis, which once considered to have been controlled, but they are not. They are now amenable to available remedies due to drug resistance. Challenges like cancer. There are several drugs which induce cancer. Anti-cancer drug itself induces cancer. Hepatitis, hypertension, and concomitant problems, or rather to say that there is a word coined as lifestyle disorders. Lifestyle disorders, you can include this in this heading, in this umbrella, the heart attack, ischemic heart disease, the diabetes, the obesity, CKD, chronic kidney disease मिल रहा है आजकल बहुत ही, arthritis, depression. Depression is the main thing which is appearing not due to COVID, but since it prevails since long. Leprosy, filariasis, dengue fever, epilepsy, mental, and various types of viral fevers, and different diseases due to stress and strain of ever fast moving life pattern of new culture. खाना बनाने का समय नहीं है, दोनों पति पत्नी निकले, फास्ट फूड निकला, जंक फूड लिया, खाए, सो गए. They don't bother that what chemicals have been mixed to preserve it and what insecticides have been poured in the food to preserve it. In a recent study in Purvi Uttar Pradesh and Paschimi Bihar, they have been found that gallbladder cancer is prevalent only due to excessive use of vegetables and fruits. Why? Because these vegetables and fruits have remnants of insecticides, and those insecticides after entering the GIT, many of them go under enterohepatic circulation and cause gallbladder cancer. वो जमाना गया जब हम कहते थे कि सेब को छिलका सहित खाने से बड़ा फायदा है, अब तो सेब को भी छील कर ही खाने में फायदा है, क्योंकि जितनी भी चीजें हैं, सब्जियां हैं, वेजिटेबल्स हो, फ्रूट्स हो, उनको स्टोरेज में, कोल्ड स्टोरेज में संग्रह करने से पहले ही ऐसे इंसेक्टिसाइड्स स्प्रिंकल कर दिए जाते हैं, वो सड़े ना. पेय पदार्थ हैं, खूब अच्छा हम लोग कोल्ड ड्रिंक पी रहे हैं, वाह वाह, वो फ्रूट जूस भी, मैंगो जूस भी, सब कोल्ड ड्रिंक आजकल डिब्बे में अवेलेबल है. बट किसी को मालूम है उसमें क्या इंसेक्टिसाइड्स डाले गए? आप एक मैंगो जूस की एक बोतल भर कर रख दीजिए, जिसके 3 दिन में खराब हो जाएगा. वो क्या है कि 6 महीने से खराब नहीं, वो फ्रेश है. तो कुछ में इंसेक्टिसाइड्स डाले गए हैं क्योंकि फंगस में ग्रो न कर सके. उसमें पेस्टिसाइड्स डाले गए हैं, उसमें प्रिजर्वेटिव्स डाले गए हैं, which are not natural for human body. They have effect on insects body, fungus, and they have, if they can kill the bacteria, virus and fungus, why not they can kill the human person also? So for these regions we have to do pharmacognostical studies. Very first, pharmacognostical studies is not limited only to the micro or macro pharmacology of the plant. Pharmacological study also includes the constituents of plants as seen in chromatographs, either in PLC or HPLC or GCMS, FTIR. Because if you extract active ingredient, इलायची सपोज, इलायची का फ्लेवर आपने डेवलप कर लिया, सिंपल से शरबत में मिला दिया, तो क्या इलायची शरबत हो गया? नहीं। अगर आपके सामने परोसा जाएगा ये इलायची का शरबत है, तो हम कैसे जानेंगे? तो हाउ कैन आइडेंटिफाई दैट इज इलायची प्रेजेंट इन द शरबत और नॉट? Is the has the ashwagandha, a bulk of ashwagandha, has its proper ingredients or not? Because we know in 6 months the herbal drugs becomes really lean. That's why knowledge of pharmacognosy and the identification of constituents, not only active ingredient. Because active ingredient किसी में भी डाल देंगे तो वही ठीक देगा, लेकिन सभी कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट्स देखना जरूरी है कि वासा है तो इसमें वासिसीन कितना है, ये अश्वगंधा है तो विडोलाइट्स कितने हैं, और साथ ही साथ विडोलाइट्स यानी प्लूरल है, कोई एक कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट को देख कर हम नहीं कर सकते. We have to know the standardization process on scientific footings, on global footings. Very firstly, to make our drug or formulation of the global standard. सबसे पहले ग्लोबल स्टैंडर्ड का बनाएंगे, तब तो उसकी सेफ्टी जांच करेंगे. पहले इसमें स्पूरियस चीजें मिली होंगी, केवल फ्लेवर मिला होगा, केवल चिकना दिखाई पड़ता होगा, तो विधिवान थोड़े है. अश्वगंधा को चीज डाल के बस बढ़िया ढंग से आप रख दीजिए, या मंजिष्ठा को रख दीजिए, बहुत सुरक्षित, 6 महीने बाद भी उसी तरह चमकता हुआ दिखाई पड़े, लेकिन क्या उसके इंग्रेडिएंट्स बचे रहेंगे? नहीं. तो 6 महीने में तो हर्बल प्लांट्स विरहीन हो जाते हैं. So now Ayurveda people should add in their research, should adopt very firstly the pharmacognostic knowledge. What are the constituents described in the pharmacopoeia of the particular country, and whether in my sample those ingredients are available in the same range of concentration or not. Range has been fixed because the constituents concentration of constituents may vary according to the geographical area, as I have said, not only geographical area but according to season also. In my department, a study was conducted on Vasa, and it was found the constituents were present in the Vasa plant most abundantly in the season just after rains. तो वही वासा अगर गर्मियों में हम यूज कर लें तो कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट्स वो नहीं होंगे, उस वो कंसंट्रेशन नहीं होगा. एंड दैट्स व्हाई द फार्माकोपिया कमेटी हैज फिक्स्ड द रेंज टू 3 to 5%, 2 to 4%, 10 to 11%. इतना कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट्स का कंसंट्रेशन होना चाहिए तभी वो ड्रग जेन्युइन है, वरना नहीं जेन्युइन है. इट शुड नॉट बी इंक्लूडेड. क्या कोई करता है? किसी फैक्ट्री वाले से पूछ लीजिए लोकल, बाकी जिनके R&D बहुत अच्छे हैं, हिमालय हुआ, डाबर हुआ, गुड पावर्स हुआ, जिनका R&D बहुत डेवलप है वो तो ठीक है, मेरे अनुसार ठीक है। वो क्या कर रहे हैं मैं नहीं जानता। तो pharmaceutic knowledge includes only not only the microscopic or macroscopic, but the chemical constituents, presence of chemical constituents in desired range of concentration. Then comes the toxicity study. If your drug is a new one, or if your combination of drug is new one, and you want to put it on a global market, then you must perform toxicity study. And toxicity study itself takes more than 10 or 15 years. Because very first you will see the acute toxicity study, then subacute toxicity study lasting for months together, then chronic toxicity study, because there are several drugs like drug of diabetes, drug of hypertension, you have to, the patient you take lifelong. So chronic toxicity study is launched for years together, 3 years, 4 years. Then not only this, then specific toxicity study is done. So that whether a lady is going to consume by drug, what will be effect on its fetus? What will be effect on its next generation children? What will be its effect on breast milk secretion? So my dear friends, any new drug development, according to Mashelkar Committee of Government of India, takes 15 to 20 years to induce, to produce, to present a new drug before the world. This is toxicity study, safety study, in how much dose it is safe or not. Safety study is a ratio of therapeutic dose and fatal dose. Suppose a drug has a fatal dose of 5 mg and therapeutic dose is 2 mg. How near they are? If a patient by fault, by mistake, takes 2 or 3 tablets, will he survive? No. That drug is not allowed to come in the market, which safety is low. But if a drug's toxic dose, fatal dose is 20 mg and tablets are available in 1 mg, that is safe. Means the ratio of therapeutic dose and fatal dose is called therapeutic index. The drugs having therapeutic index more than 10 are safe. Between around 5, they can be used very cautiously in supervision of physician. And thus having therapeutic index less than 4 are not used at all, and they are not allowed at all to be marketed and to be consumed by the patient. So first, pharmaceutical study, use of pharmacy, use of chemistry, use of chromatography in your drug, in Ayurveda. बहुत होता शास्त्र सुस्त याद कीजिए, एक वो शास्त्र अभियान होने पर शास्त्र में से केवल आयुर्वेदिक ज्ञान होने से आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते, कोई नई ड्रग विश्व को नहीं दे सकते। और विद्या तो सबकी है ना, हमको अगर कोई दूसरी विद्या है तो उसको लेने में क्या शर्म है भाई, उसका हम सहयोग क्यों न ले ले अपने आयुर्वेद के ड्रग को बढ़ावा देने के लिए। तो फार्मास्यूटिकल स्टडी, माइक्रोस्कोपिक एंड बायोकेमिकल एंड केमिकल स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन। एक और टर्म आता है बायोलॉजिकल स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन। उसमें रैट्स में देखिए, एक एग्जाम्पल लीजिए, एक सेप्ट्राल की टैबलेट लीजिए या एक एंटीबायोटिक लीजिए, एम्पिसिलिन लीजिए, कुछ भी सिंथेटिक ड्रग है, इनमें कोई वेरिएशन नहीं होगा। अगर ये किसी बैक्टीरियल फ्लोरा को आप हम इसका कल्चर सेंसिटिविटी करते हैं, तो एक सेप्ट्रान या एक एम्पिसिलिन उतने ही एरिया को क्लीन करेगी, बैक्टीरिया को हटाएगी, जितना भारत में करते होते हैं अमेरिका में करेगी। लेकिन ये चीज हमारे आयुर्वेदिक ड्रग्स के साथ नहीं है, कहा सकता हर्बल ड्रग्स के साथ नहीं है। जो हम ग्रो करेंगे, चंदन का पेड़ हमारे गार्डन में है, उसमें एसेंस नहीं है, पेड़ वृक्ष बहुत बड़ा हो गया है, लेकिन इसमें वो बाई प्रोडक्ट्स नहीं है जो कर्नाटक के चंदन के पेड़ में है। उसमें वो सुगंध नहीं है, वो बाई प्रोडक्ट्स नहीं है, मेटाबॉलिक बाई प्रोडक्ट्स ही उसके सुगंध या उसके गुण धर्मों का निश्चय करते हैं। हम कैसे असर करेंगे? हमें चंदन की लकड़ी चाहिए तो क्या गेटवे गार्डन से तोड़ लेंगे, उसका इफेक्ट मिलेगा? नहीं मिलेगा। कर्नाटक से जब आएगा उसमें वो बाई प्रोडक्ट होंगे उस प्लांट में, तभी उसका थेरापेटिक इफेक्ट मिलेगा। हमारे ड्रग के साथ वो चीज नहीं है जो एम्पिसिलिन या सेप्ट्रान या किसी भी एंटीबायोटिक में है। वासा ही लीजिएगा तो वासा हमारे यहाँ दूसरा कंसंट्रेशन मिलेगा उस इलेक्ट्रोलाइट्स का, और केरल में या कर्नाटक में पाई जाने वाली का दूसरा कंसंट्रेशन मिलेगा। अमेरिका की तो बात ही छोड़ दे। तो हमें अभी भी, अब हमारी फार्माकोपिया कमेटी के मेंबर था, मैं सिंगल ड्रग कमेटी का चेयरमैन था, वर्षों तक था, लेकिन ये सब काम करने में वर्षों लग जाते हैं, लाइफ डिवोट करना पड़ता है। मैं बीएचयू में प्रोफेसर भी रहूं और दिल्ली में जाकर मीटिंग भी कर लूं, ऐसे नहीं। सेपरेट यूनिट होने चाहिए, हमारी सीसीआरएस की यूनिट के भी करना चाहिए, मगर हमारे, मैं नहीं कहना चाहता, विजनरीज हमारे ऐसे हैं, नो डाउट उन विजनरीज में मैं भी हूँ, मेरे पास भी बहुत लिमिटेशंस है ना। मैं अपनी प्राइमरी ड्यूटी को छोड़ करके जाकर बैठ नहीं सकता हूँ दिल्ली में नहीं एक्सपेरिमेंट करने के लिए। मेरी प्राइमरी, हाँ मेरे नॉलेज का फायदा उनको दे सकता हूँ मैं, तो मैं प्रोफेसर टीचर हूँ, लेकिन इम्प्लीमेंट तो गवर्नमेंट को करना है ना, चाहे वो आयुष हो, चाहे मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ हेल्थ हो, फार्माकोपिया कमेटी हो, फार्माकोपिया कमीशन हो, या गवर्नमेंट लेबोरेटरीज हो। और यही चीज हमारे यहाँ बहुत कम है, बहुत कम है, रादर इस पर ध्यान नहीं दिया जाता। एक सिंपल चीज फार्मास्यूटिकल स्टडीज, एनिमल एक्सपेरिमेंटेशन, जिसको हम बायोलॉजिकल स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन कहते हैं। एक इंसुलिन अगर किसी शुगर सॉल्यूशन में एक यूनिट डाल दें तो एक फिक्स्ड अमाउंट ऑफ शुगर को कम करती है, ये प्रूव है। हमारे यहाँ कैसा है कि हमारे चाहे विजयसार हो, चाहे मेथिका हो, चाहे जारुल हो, चाहे कुछ भी ऐसा हो, क्या वह 1 ग्राम उसका चूर्ण देने पर इंसुलिन या शुगर के सॉल्यूशन को उतना ही कम कर सके? नहीं, क्योंकि हमारे प्लांट जो है ज्योग्राफिकल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन के कारण वेरिएशन होता है इनके इफेक्ट में। ये सब चैलेंजेस हैं हमारे यहाँ, मगर ऐसा नहीं चैलेंजेस से हम हार मान सकते हैं। हम एक रेंज जिसे हमने बनाया, जब मैं था सिंगल ड्रग कमेटी का चेयरमैन, तो मैंने उसमें डिफरेंट लेबोरेटरीज से, साउथ की लेबोरेटरी से, नॉर्थ की लेबोरेटरी से, मिडिल इंडिया के लेबोरेटरी से, जम्मू की लेबोरेटरी से एक डाटा मंगाया। तो डाटा सभी आयुर्वेदिक ड्रग्स के लिए नहीं हो सकता ना, 10, 15, 20 आयुर्वेदिक ड्रग्स का मैं कर सकता हूँ डाटा मंगा के एक साल में। और उस डाटा के अनुसार मैंने रेंज बनाया कि दिस कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट शुड बी इन ए रेंज ऑफ सच एंड सच range of concentration, then we will consider the plant as genuine plant. And if we are using genuine plant in our formulation, that is going to deliver the desired effect. That's why in India, certain companies are dominating because their R&D is very strong. I don't wish to take their names, but they have developed their R&D. R&D means research and development, very strong, and that's why their medicines are effective and popular also. You know, from any medical college, modern medical college or medical institute, a single drug is invented so far? No. All the molecules of the antibiotics, all other things are developed by R&D division of foreign companies. Their MR comes and dictates our doctors, so-called doctors, MD, FRCP, etc. This has this effect, this better. We have done a study in Germany, we done America. But why have you done your study in Kerala and Madhya Pradesh and Adivasi Chhattisgarh? No, but good doctor fights, and we follow that. Not all, but some of us follow that. So, my friends, Apara Shastram Bahulata Vidya, Yatsar Bhutam Taneva Grahyam. In an hour only, I cannot say the present perspectives of research in Ayurveda. It needs hours together. However, I have given a glimpse of that. And my future generation, which is coming now, he has inputs and he should have क्या कहेंगे उसे, stimulus to do that. Only then Ayurveda will get a bright future and acceptance worldwide. Thank you again. Thank you for giving me opportunity to deliver a lecture here. Thank you.